Hi there, how are you? My name is Dani Henderson, and welcome to my beautiful channel. Now, many of you know that we just did a beautiful conference in Westminster, Colorado, where we actually called in, or Elena Danan called in spacecraft. Now, not to be boring to those of you that come here regularly, but we did make history. Elena said the day, the time, and the tiny hotel airspace in a non-restricted fly zone. You have Denver Airport one side and Boulder Airport the other side. And on the 27th of September, we made history. Now, there are many videos on my channel here that you're watching, so just click below the video and you can go and see those. What I want to do today is, as many of you know that follow my channel, not follow me, not worship me, but just watch the things I share with love from my heart to yours, that I'm very outspoken because I love humanity. It's quite simple. And those of you that don't believe in aliens, then that's all right too, because very soon you'll have no choice but to recognize that we are a planet amongst many planets in a beautiful solar system where there is much life, millions and millions of other species that actually call themselves humans. And I know that most of you, your programming that I had to, we all have programming. We're told where to go for our religion, whatever religion we're born into, that's it. We're told to plug into anything off planet. Space is NASA, but NASA have failed horribly in their role to inform humanity for their own reasons. And so no one listens to NASA. And there are many other ways to go too. And with science, it's so sad because there are so many great scientists and astrophysicists. And often you'll find that with the science world, in whatever regard or system or product or thesis or quantum technology, often it's the funding. The funders are the controllers, and many of you are coming to that recognition too. It's not easy to sit here and criticize, believe me. I know what it feels like. It's an arrow in the heart. When anyone says something horrible, it always hurts. We're human, we feel, we're sensitive beings. I want to start with an apology to the people that I've called out recently and just said their names because they openly support grey aliens. They openly support the Galactic Federation of Light, which is a programmed PSYOP. The Galactic Federation of Light. Number one, you can't federate light, but we're so keen to learn about the true history of spirituality, religion, love, faith, hope, grace. And all of us, without exception, have been horribly lied to in many, many regards. So I do want to say sorry to and everyone is lovely. Everyone has light in them, everyone has love in them. And there are people out there that I named recently who are so programmed and owned by a grey agenda, they truly believe it. And when you truly believe something, it's very hard to undo your beliefs. I know this. I've done this. And I could still be wrong. I could literally be the worst person on the planet for you to listen to. And this is where you have to listen to me, please. I come on here and I laugh and I joke and I say things and I give you spiritual lessons that I've learned. I share my information with you and I share books with you and I share people with you and I interview beautiful people. Some of them I was wrong to interview, but I didn't know at the time because my heart's so open. My keenness to help humanity get their information, make their own information, because we're all on an individual journey. I've made errors, I've made mistakes, I still have, I probably still will, and I always hold my hand up and say, sorry, I got that wrong. And that's all right, that's part of being a human being. But it does hurt my heart because I did mention three or four names of people I've never actually met. But I am so concerned because they openly say these aren't blind attacks that I'm doing. They are people who truly believe that the grey aliens are beautiful and wonderful and here for their benevolence and they're connected all to the Galactic Federation of Light. And I feel for them because, especially one girl, she comes off so lovely. I've never met her. And when you feel someone's heart, they're so lovely and you can feel that, but we don't know what's behind that or around that. And like I say, as I'm sitting here before you, you could say, oh, Dani, Dani Henderson, you just showed a fleet of UFO over your conference that was led by my best friend in all the universes, Elena Danan. It was because of Elena Danan and her true connection to the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which is a military faction, not a fantasy alien spiritual, can only connect astrally or, mentally. No, and so there's a lot of confusion. So to the people who I have hurt, and I know it hurt, and I am sorry, human to human, I'm sorry, but I have a job to do. I don't set out to attack and hurt, never. And there's always comeback from there. So I am sorry to you for your individual hearts, but this isn't a career. This is not a career for me. This is about humanity only. This is about disclosure of the true history of your planet and your solar system and the worlds beyond and the other beings that exist here. That's why I do what I do. So it's not individually targeting personal, unless someone's a real knobhead, they need a bit of a slap, then yeah, I'm going to bring it. But all jokes aside, it is painful. And I've had a lot of pushback and feedback from people saying, how dare you say this person and that person? And all I say to you, they openly say they're connected to the grey aliens, the grey programs, the grey hybrids. Be careful of that. And there's more to come on that, but not from me. I know my place and I know my role. And there'll be more to come from me next week, but not right now. Now, some of the things that we can do to release ourselves from the agony and the pain of our lives is to use our imagination to bring the information of things that we need to do to get energy, stuck energy and stuck programs out of our bodies. Because from childhood to now, even in vitro in the womb, there are things that happen. We also come in with ancestral trauma, ancestral cellular memory. That's why some of you say, I was there at Jesus' crucifixion. I was there at the falling of Pompeii. I was there at the fall of Atlantis. I was there at the beginning of Lemuria. I was there in these historical times. And you probably were. But most likely, because there were also billions of other people during that time, you probably weren't the goddess or the godhead or the leader or the Poseidon or the Ea or the Enlil or the whatever person that you've heard about, read about, and connected to that you think you are. I will say with absolute truth and trust in my own soul, anyone connected to the legacy of Enlil, who was one of the Anunnaki brothers that harmed the planet way down the history line, I would say to you, do not go there. But that's your choice, of course, that's your choice. So we're going to go into some of the ways that you can free programs and pain from your childhood to the present moment. And as the beautiful being that you are, the powerful, powerful being that you are, I can't believe that most people don't realize how strong they are, how powerful they are, the gifts that they have within them. They were not bestowed by your parents or your ancestors or your God or your religion. They weren't. And this is something that I ask that people just take a breath. Don't get triggered. Ask yourself, I came through a birth canal, a mother's birth canal, whether that was your mom in this life or not. We all came, most of us, through a birth canal. And as a baby, we are this pure little soul. And all we can do is rely on the people around us to survive. We don't survive if we're born in the woods and the mother walks away and leaves the baby on the floor. Although we have had many stories about children who've been raised by animals, etc. But that's a whole different. But in general, you got to remember that you are this little babe, this beautiful, beautiful baby that came onto the planet. And I don't actually know anyone, years of being a nursery nurse and years of being a children's nanny and years of being a therapist and years of being a qualified journalist. I have never actually met a soul yet who hasn't suffered. And there's someone that says through hardship to the stars. And I often read that phrase and I don't like it because partly it's true. Every person seems to go through hardship. So right now, as we're going through an ascension on many levels on our planet, how can you free yourself from some of your past pain? So I'm going to give you a little technique. I want to remind you the last 2 days, and tomorrow also is coming out another broadcast on crystals and how to use them, and sage and books I've read that might help you on your journey. But there's so much you can do with your own energy, your own frequency, and your own intention to heal and to let go of some of the rage, the pain, the depression, the sadness that inhabits all of us in some ways. It does, inhabits all of us in some ways. That's how we learn, that's how we grow, but we didn't come back here to suffer in the way that we are. And so we have to be very mindful that we can look at people on the internet, you can look at me, you can listen to me, for example, and I'm honored that you do. But it's more important to me that you remember who you are and your power and your innate beauty. And it isn't about your face or necessarily, it's the love inside of you. It's the love inside of you, inside of all of us. We've got this battery power of love, and it ramps up and it ramps down depending on what we're doing, how we're feeling. And there are moments of joy, and joy is the highest vibration. We can't sustain being in joy. It's too high of a vibration, but we can pop in and out of love. And then we can dive down to aggression and sadness and anger and rage. And I think it was in my broadcast yesterday, I mentioned David Hawkins, who wrote a book called Power versus Force. And it's so interesting that he learned how to quantifiably measure the elements of frequency that happens in these bodies. So, you know, when you feel joy, joy is mostly up here and you're beaming from your piezoelectricity in your pineal gland, which is part of your physical body. It's your chorus consciousness, it's your science of consciousness, it's your connection. But when you're looking around the world at everything that's happening and hurting and harming, you can very easily drop down. And when you drop down, your frequency lowers. And that can also be measured at a lower density. Then it's much harder to come up here and feel the love and feel the joy that you are imbued with. We all are imbued with it. So I'm going to show you how to, it's called burning contracts. And you must use your imagination to bring the information, because it's not about looking outside. It's not about buying a course, reading a book. You can do that, or you can watch this for free and see how it resonates or doesn't with you. And for those of you that have been watching my channel here for 3 years, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you very much. And I love the live chats every time I do a premiere. I love getting in there. I love seeing you all, and you're all welcome. You're all welcome. So when we recognize that we have all this incredible love inside of us and this ability to heal, and we carry so much pain because most of us are empathic, there's a very powerful way. And it's a tool I've used, I think, probably for maybe over 15 years. I learned it from Dr. Chris Lamont, who I will bring back on my channel soon. So what you do is you just take a breath in and then push it out through the mouth and down into the belly. Take a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and down into the belly. Now, even that, if you had a doctor or a scientist that had any knowledge on what actually happens brain frequency-wise, neural, frequency-wise, neuroscience, etc. Let's not get carried away with the labels because we all do sometimes. When you take a breath in through your nose, three things are happening inside of your brain chemistry. You are releasing endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin. If we are not manufacturing serotonin in our brain chemistry, then we can get depressed. Serotonin is your friend, and we manufacture it normally in the body. Same as melatonin, same as many other beautiful hormones that we can ramp up or ramp down depending on our emotional feelings. So I'm going to take you into the white room, and we are going to eliminate your contracts, your soul contracts with others. Some of these people you will know, and some of them you won't. You just use your imagination to bring the information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover my camera, and then I'll come back. But let me help you. If you decide, you can go. If you don't want to do this, it doesn't matter. So come back in 5 minutes, or you can sit with me while I share with you how to remove your soul contracts, which will free you up in so many ways. So just take a breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth, push down into the belly. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and push down into the belly. Relax your shoulders. Relax your beautiful body. And then imagine in the center of your head is a white room. It's pure, crystalline white. It is so beautiful. It is your private space. No thing and no one can be there but you. Know that you are inside your pineal gland, your pineal light. This is your personal seat of creation that connects to all of creation, creator, creators, whatever language you tell yourself. And so as you allow yourself to see, feel, and be in this beautiful white room in the center of your head, you're going to see a table in front of you. And on that table, you're going to see some contracts. And look at each contract, and each contract has a name on it. Now, I want you to pick up the first contract with the name on it, and don't think about it, just do it. In your other hand, you're going to see a lighter, and you're going to set fire quietly and slowly to that contract. And as you do that, a tiny door on the far side of the white room is going to open, but it's very small. The person whose name is on that contract is coming in on their hands and their knees. On their hands and their knees, and they're very small because this is your white safe space. And as you look down at them, you'll recognize they don't have a mouth. They have no way to speak, to abuse, to shout, or do anything. They're coming in on their hands and knees. You're burning their contract with their name on it. You just look down at them and you show them you're burning the contract. In all time, known and unknown, past, present, and future, known and unknown, felt and unfelt. You are burning your contract. You are ending your energetic soul contract in all lifetimes, known and unknown, with them. Watch the contract burn. And then as the ashes fall on the table, you blow the ashes over the person that's kneeling down on the floor, and you send them out through the white door. The ashes chase them out of the door. They go out of the door and into space. and the door shuts and the door seals. Now take a breath. Look down at the table. Look at the next contract. Look at the name on it. Don't negotiate with your emotions. That is an error. If you want to get rid of what's blocking you, block yourself by not doing this. Pick up the contract, set fire to it, see a little door open, another person, being, entity comes in on their hands and knees, they have no mouth. You burn the contract, you blow the ash over them, you point them out towards the door, and they disappear through and in through space. The door shuts and the door seals. Now look down again at the third contract on the table. Look at the name on it, or not. There might not be a name, but maybe there's something in you that you need to shift out of your space. So without thinking, without going into emotion, and do not negotiate. If you want to be free of the things that bind you, this is a free exercise that you do energetically to free you. And it is not about with your thinking brain. Now, third contract, set fire to it. Let the tiny door open. Let the little thing come in on its knees. It doesn't have a mouth, a voice. It makes no sound. You are clearing your vessel. You are cutting the binds that tie. Burn the contract. You blow the ash over the being. You send it out the door, and the door seals. And I welcome you to do this over and over and over. The more you do it, the more you free up the programs that are inside your brain and your body. And you don't need to think about it, and you certainly don't need to negotiate it. You are a being of love. Your first course of thought is love, but you rarely think about yourself. And this is the time where you can, and you do. Hi. For those of you that were able to do that, well done. These are some of the exercises that I do with people privately in my clinic, but I'm giving this to you for free right now because we're all needing to release things from us, stuck things, stuck emotions, stuck feelings, because we all deserve to be able to have clarity, to be able to free ourselves. We didn't come to this planet to be imbued and sucked in and tied into the pain that we feel, or the depression, or the anxiety, or the anger, or the wretchedness. We came to learn how to free ourselves from that. Now, there are so many ways I could go here, but teaching you releasing your contracts, your soul contracts in the white room was on my heart all day. And I felt that even though I have other broadcasts coming out in the next 2 days, that it was something really important to do for you. And we are, since my conference, Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection, it has never been more obvious to me that once so many of us, over 1,000 of us, witnessed all these beautiful flying craft coming in, these actual UFOs that Elena Danan brought in, still there are people saying, it's a drone. And you go, oh, bless you, because we're so programmed as humans to go, well, I wasn't there. I don't know the details. I'm not part of it. Therefore, I don't believe it. It didn't come out of my church or my cathedral or my Vatican or my whatever. And so it can't be true. But of course it's true. There's so much that we don't know. And I'm doing my best to help you. Take it or leave it. That's up to you. But I do feel a duty of care, especially for the people that came to the conference. And the love in that room is something that will be with me for the rest of my life, in particular this year, 2024. The speakers, the love was Dr. Michael Sala. JP came out, revealed himself on stage, the army insider who's been on and off planet. And it's very interesting because when people go from being able to anchor into spirituality or anchor into, a religion, sometimes the stretch is too much to go into the reality of the truth of the history of your planet. And I get that. And I've worked through it too. And because I've physically seen so much, I'm good with sharing with you. I know what I know. I've seen what I've seen. I do what I do. And I love humanity so much. And I come off different ways to different people, and I can't manage that. And I'm not going to manage that. It is what it is. But I hope that in sharing a couple of these little techniques with you, that you'll be able to release yourself from some of the ties that bind. And it's so freeing. Oh my God, I've done this my whole life. Well, not my whole life, the last 25 years, I would say. I've done the burning the contracts, burning the contracts, burning the contracts. I've lost so many friends over the last 8 years, so many really close friends, and it's devastating. You think, is it me? Is it them? It just is. It just is. It's you growing as an individual. It doesn't mean they're wrong or they're right. Maybe they're further ahead of the spiritual realm than you are, but they do it a different way. There's no one set way to do what's happening. But what you do need to do, and I do say this, is love yourself unconditionally. Unconditionally. Start looking in that mirror and loving on the person that looks back at you. Start being kind and loving and respectful to the inner child that's in you that saw everything from birth, saw everything your whole life. That little one is still healing. And how do we heal that little one? We imagine taking them on our lap, for example, and we just imagine holding your 3-year-old self and just wrapping them up, wrap them up. And then if you need to rock, rock. But whatever happened at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, put that part of you on your lap and love that part of you. And if that's funny to you, it's okay. It's just you fighting the pain that's inside of you. We all do it. We drink, we smoke, we do drugs, we overeat, we oversex, we overwatch gaming, we overwatch TV, we overread, we overgossip, we over to avoid the healing that's there, the opportunity to heal. We all do it. I've done it. It's okay. But recognizing why we're doing the avoiding is the way to the healing. And it will take a few times. It doesn't happen just in one go. How could it? You've had a whole lifetime of pain, tragedy, violence, sadness, being let down, being hurt. And so is everybody else in different ways. And you've done something to others and you've hurt them. You didn't mean to, but you did. So don't go into victim mode or martyr mode. Recognize that what's done is done. And the best thing you can do for you right now is focus here and focus on that inner child and sit with that inner child and just take time. Talk to him, talk to her, talk to them, love them, tell them that you are always here and you're sorry that the adults they screamed out for, the adults they thought would protect them that didn't. They didn't. But you are now. That inner child that resides in you is not separate from you. Doesn't matter how big of a man you are, how rich you are, none of that matters. It's so irrelevant. To you, healing and loving on you and healing the pain in you, that's it. All the money in the world is never going to heal that pain from childhood. So if we care to take a moment to be with that little one, that's beautiful. Do it a few times, any time of day, I do it. I still do it. Of course, I still do it. I'm still healing too. We all are. I think, I could be wrong, of course. I think that when we finally get to a level of healing and putting things right, etc., and having experiences that we're here to have, that then we leave. We leave the planet. I'm going to give you another technique, exercise that you may or may not choose to do because it's a big one. And that is anyone that you have upset with, hurt with, pain with, even your children, your partners, your lovers, your parents, your family members, your friends, write to them or phone them or email them or call them or meet them and be very clear that no matter what they say, you're not going to get triggered. And you tell them what they're doing right. Imagine your kid that you can't stand, the teenager that's messing up in your eyes. They're struggling. Look what they've got to put up with in the world, the tribal issues, the gangs, the gang mentality, having the right shoes, having the right clothes. That was sad for them. It's so hard for them. They're not doing anything on purpose. And they hurt you because they're hurting, because you're the one that loves them the most and they don't know how to communicate. And it can be years. So imagine you tell them what they're doing right. How lovely. Even if it lasts a couple of days, it releases you as well. You're letting go of your, yeah, you did this, but you little shit, you little whatever. You tell them what they're doing right and you put back some of that good energy. You balance the energy out. Do not expect one thing back, because if you expect them to respond to you in a certain way, that is called conditional love. That's not helpful. That causes more problems. If you have issues for years and years or whatever with anybody else and you feel strong enough, phone them, call them, email them, write them a letter. But don't have an expectation that they're going to come back and say sorry to you too. Because what you're doing is you're releasing your pain, not on them, from you, because they're on their journey. They've got a different idea of what happened. They don't know how you feel. They don't understand. They don't feel what you feel. They're not you. They're not you. They don't get it. And it's all right. They're not stupid. They're not ignorant. They're just not you. And you're not them. But you're not stupid or ignorant either. You're just different beings. In order to help yourself free yourself from the pain that drags you down, put the energy out, put it out with no expectations. If you demand and expect and hope, well, my God, I put myself out and they couldn't even be bothered to write back. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go, my love. Isn't it better that you feel better? Now you're going to worry with your ego about what they're going to say, what they're going to think, what they're going to do. They're going to tell their friends or their family, oh, so and so wrote to me and she said sorry, or he said sorry, or they said sorry about this thing they did. It doesn't matter what they decide to respond or not respond to. What matters is that you loved yourself enough to release that. That's it. That's what. That's it. It's easy when you don't let your big old ego get in the way. And believe me, I've done that a few times. I've had expectations and I've learned if I'm going to honestly, truthfully, lovingly want to make something better, I have to be able to speak to the person, people, situation, and not expect or demand a response that feeds my huge ego. I did a video yesterday and it was about looking into your eyes, looking into your pupils, looking into the soul of you. So I advise you, if you want more of these little, gifts of healing, spiritual techniques, spiritual tools, to go back and look at that. I also did a really powerful one looking at reflections on the wall, seeing into different dimensions, because we've never been trained or shown how incredible we are as beings. We're in these physical bodies and we have these souls and these hearts and this electromagnetic frequency that we all have that no one can take from you. It doesn't matter what program you plug into outside of yourself, you are this incredible being. And so there's more helpful tools there from last night. Um, I am such a terrible writer. I can't even read my own writing, but I'm going to leave that with you. I hope that this has helped you or helps you in some way. Um, it is so bumpy. It's so bumpy. And again, when I've been calling out names of people that follow the grey hybrid agenda and they allow the greys to be part of their lives, and they're such lovely, lovely people, and you get drawn to them because they're lovely. And most of them are not aware and they don't know that they're owned, and you just have to use your own feelings about that. I don't do anything to attack on purpose. I get no joy and no pleasure out of hurting. I will not stop being outspoken. I can't help it as part of my mission as a warrior of love. But I do love everyone. I do care for everyone. And I do hope that in some way, what I have delivered here will support you. And perhaps you'll share with your friends, with your children, with your loved ones, ways to get out of the agony that you are in. We are all in some kind of turmoil. And these are easy ways. Going in the white room, taking the breaths, even just taking one breath. Dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. Breathing down into the belly. I always put my hand on my belly, anchoring the breath in, because so many of us breathe here because we're so stressed and we're creating cortisol and we're diminishing the serotonin in the brain chemistry. We are these amazing, beautiful beings. And there's so much we can do without medication to help ourselves, to bring ourselves alive, to ground into the body, to breathe into the body, to use our imagination to bring the information, to think about being in the white room, in the piezoelectricity, your creation point, to having a table with contracts with names and just burning them up, just releasing them. One final technique, cord cutting. I know lots of you know about it. I've used it for years too. When it feels better for me to be separate or away from someone's energy that I can't be around for whatever reason, it doesn't mean they're bad. Not everybody is bad. Sometimes we're just not ready to be in their presence because they're further ahead in something we are lacking. Don't always think someone's got a lower vibration than you just because you and your mate are sitting and chatting and you don't agree. We have to take accountability for this. Okay. So, someone's bugging you, you're not sure about them. What you want to do, if you want to do it, is you imagine them way down the street and you look at them, you can see them, they can see you. And you imagine a golden heartstring coming from your heart and going all the way down the road into theirs. And when you see that heart connection connecting, imagine a big pair of scissors and cut that cord. And you keep on cutting the cord while you're looking at them until the cord releases. And it releases in a million different ways. And you are making a statement to your mind, body, and soul, your energy frequency that records everything. That the energy that you connected to is not welcome in your space or your field, in this dimension or others, past, present, and future. We are energy beings in these physical bodies, and we have power beyond imagination. If you use ill intent, it will come right back to you. So be very careful. It can only be done with a neutral feeling. Do not engage. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth gear. Don't engage. It is unconditional. You see them down the street, golden heartstring to their heart just for a second. Cut, 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 cut. The body's recording the energy frequency that you are releasing. So when you cut it, the brain's recording, the body frequency temple is recording that energy is not welcome. It's ever so powerful. Teach your kids. And if your kids are telling you they're scared at night, there's something under the bed, in the closet, listen to them. Beat the crap out of the clothes in the closet, throw a shoe under the bed, do your magic, be a superhero. There's lots of energies on the planet bothering all of us right now. And as beings of love, we can delete them. My name is Dani Henderson. We're all on a journey, all of us. No one is above another. And if you hear someone saying that, I recommend just go the other way, because we ain't got time for their ego. What I do for myself and for you, humanity, this is not a career. When I'm doing the connections and the conferences I do, Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection, and showing you proof of our ET life through Elena Danan, who was the one that did it, not me. I set the stage and she brought the fleet. So don't get the two confused. But, you know, we all have a mission. We all have a purpose. We all have a duty. And know your role and be as loving as you can. And when you have to say names and call things out, know that it does pain me. I don't want to hurt someone, but sometimes in telling the truth also allows someone else to recognize they might be being owned, you know? So be kind, be loving where you can, and work on yourself, work on your healing, because you are worth it. I'm Dani Henderson. I have so much love for our planet, for Mother Nature, for Gaia, for Planet Key. Take care, keep breathing, and I'll see you soon.